Coming up, something near and dear to our hearts.
Movie myths, ones that we've done and ones that we're gonna do.
It's the MythBusters Hollywood Special.
It's lights, camera, action. As the MythBusters go Hollywood.
And there you have a blood bag.
And pull the curtain back on a few myths straight off the silver screen.
Dude, our robot worked!
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
I kind of like it in here. It's private.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
That was intense.
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
So what are we gonna do?
Well, we're going to look back at some of the Hollywood myths we've already tested on the show.
And with the help of our build team, we're gonna put some of the Hollywood staples that we haven't yet done to the test.
And we're going to introduce you to an old friend of ours and the newest member of the MythBusters team.
We gotta build a robot, 20 hours, okay? The robot's got to shoot projectiles and breathe flame.
I'm Grant Imahara. I've been in the visual effects industry for about 9 years now. Worked on 8 features so far, dozens of commercials. My specialty is electronics, anything that lights up or moves.
Like this big screen icon.
What do you got?
Well, yeah, it's just cylinder and some dome and find some car parts.
All right.
Grant Imahara is somebody that I've worked with for years, and I usually consult with him on anything that's a little over my head regarding electronics.
He is able to almost instantaneously grasp a concept or technique and apply it to what he's doing right away and be able to get results with that.
But before Grant helps bust his first big screen myth, let's take a look back at one of Adam and Jamie's favorites.
I've got 2 feet of water in here now.
Well, not all of the movie myths we've tested are complete works of fiction. Some of them are actually inspired by real-life events.
And I think we'd all agree that one of the granddaddies of them all, the story that inspired a mythology all its own, is what happened to and on the Titanic.
In this experiment, the boys set out to put one Titanic-sized myth to the test. Would a sinking ship suck you under as it went down? Or was that just Hollywood hype?
Well, apparently the ship moving through the water rapidly towards the bottom will create a vortex above it, kind of like drafting behind a truck when it's on the highway.
To recreate this vortex theory, the MythBusters first needed a boat. Sure, they wanted to sing an actual ocean liner in the open seas, but this was a TV show after all, not the largest grossing movie of all time. So they settled on a 14-ton tugboat for their maiden voyage to the bottom.
It's a nice solid little hunk of steel, and I think it ought to go down like a rock.
Of course, this boat wasn't built to sink, but Jamie fixed that.
We're gonna go cut some holes in the boat.
An inspired name change was made, the ill-fated vessel launched, and the anxious passengers loaded. The moment of truth.
They're only opening one valve.
I've got 2 feet of water in here now.
Okay, be careful, it might roll and you get caught. It's gonna roll, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna go this way. There you go.
Better be careful. Stay with it, stay with it. There you go. Whoa! Did suck you down, didn't it? I didn't see nobody get sucked in.
No suction.
No suction at all. I mean, I could not have been more central to the boat where it went down. I sat on it, the entire boat just dropped underneath me, and I hit the water, my neck hit the water, and I never went any lower. So I say let's get this puppy back up and call it a day. I need a drink.
So the Titanic myth? Well, it went down with the ship.
Hollywood's always trying to jazz things up to make things real spectacular. But sometimes when we get into a myth, the truth actually turns out to be stranger than fiction.
Like our Alcatraz escape.
The spoon proves mightier than the bars at supposedly escape-proof Alcatraz prison.
Alcatraz, the most notorious prison in the entire U.S., and inspiration for one of the greatest escape movies ever. But did the real-life escapees, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, really pull it off?
The escape triggered the greatest manhunt in San Francisco's history, as agents of the FBI, Coast Guardsmen, Highway Patrol, sheriff's deputies, and local police join in the search.
To separate fact from Hollywood fiction, the MythBusters broke in to break out.
Welcome to the Rock.
Officially, the escapees drowned and disappeared while fighting the currents north to Angel Island in their makeshift raft.
It does look like it's more aggressive on this side.
But the MythBusters had another theory. What if the trio had used the currents to carry them west to the Marin Headlands instead? To find out, they needed to stage an escape of their own. So, based on the FBI files, they built replicas of the prisoners' paddles.
One prison escape paddle.
And a raincoat raft.
That's a boat. I'm really impressed with these prison guys.
And set sail for destiny.
I'll go in first.
Go, Jamie. It's all you, buddy.
Oh, Jamie, you're the man, baby. Oh.
Intern Will Abbott played Frank Morris.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll take that. I got it.
I got one paddle.
Okay, we're off.
We're escaping!
Every 10 minutes, they had to reinflate the raft. But the MythBusters made it, paddling a raincoat raft more than 3 miles through the bay's treacherous tides.
This is so cool!
Making landfall just east of the Golden Gate Bridge.
We made it!
Neither the media nor the movie provided a definitive answer as to the escapees' fate.
Beautiful, man.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, good job.
But the MythBusters knew one thing for sure.
We know that it could have been done, which is cool.
It's time for Grant Imahara to bust his first myth. The newest member of the MythBusters team will use his special effects skills to replicate a Hollywood classic. Sort of.
Well, it's not really a myth. It's a special effects technique in Hollywood that we're trying to duplicate.
I mean, you know, like in all these Hollywood movies, you see people shooting up cars or houses, and you see these crazy sparks flying all over the place. It doesn't happen.
But Grant knows how Hollywood makes those sparks fly. They load paintballs with real charges, known as spark
In
loads.
Hollywood, they have a custom plastic shell. Comes in 2 halves, male and female, and you put all your stuff in, put them together, and glue around the seam.
Sounds easy enough, but can the build team replicate the effect using ordinary fireworks for their own amateur movie?
We have 4 different types of kind of fireworks that we're going to be playing with. We got sparklers. These are the fun snaps. You just throw them down and the friction lights them off.
Those are good. Dance, Balaji, dance! Dance!
Now these are probably one of my favorites. You just pull the string and they pop.
Now, this is dangerous, so don't try it yourself. Tori dissects the string poppers. Grant shaves the sparklers. And Carrie unravels the fun snaps.
MythBusters have made projectiles before, right?
Oh, yes, several times. Like the ice bullets.
Here's your ammo. This is ballistic H2O. It's an ice projectile, velocity of 3,000 feet per second, and an accuracy of up to 500 yards. No exit wound, the bullet's gonna melt inside the target.
Ice projectiles.
In the action thriller Most Wanted, a bullet made of ice killed the First Lady cold. But could a bullet really be created to deliver its deadly payload and then magically disappear without leaving any trace of ballistic evidence behind? To find out, the MythBusters crafted a few magic bullets of their own. Round 1, the ice bullet. But getting the bullet out of the mold proved to be a problem.
You know, it didn't come out all in one piece because it's very brittle. We don't want to break it before we get it in the gun.
So he moved on to round 2, the meat bullet. The brilliance behind this beefy slug? Upon impact, you wouldn't be able to distinguish ballistics from body parts.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go take a look.
Too much ballistic evidence, too little damage.
So some of it went out.
Last but not least, round 3, a bullet made of gelatin and coated in red dye.
This is looking really promising because it's not at all brittle.
There we go. 3, 2, 1.
That was a bigger boom.
But still, no payoff.
It went in about an inch.
It appeared that any substance capable of melting inside a human body was simply too fragile to do much damage. Another Hollywood myth was shot down. Things are heating up nicely for the build team.
Directly into the capsules.
We got more of those, right?
They're filling paintballs with fireworks to demonstrate how Hollywood makes ricocheting bullets spark, something that doesn't happen in real life.
Yep. This is a 5-pop snap spark ball. What could possibly go wrong? Ready?
How about too much pressure in the paintball gun?
I think it went off in the barrel.
Yep.
Because all I saw was flash as char coming out.
I mean, we're using low-grade Chinatown pop snaps and sparklers. I think that maybe, since we've already taken it down to this level, we could just throw them.
Okay. Maybe that's how they do it in Hollywood. Really?
Not really. Grant really wants that gun to work, and after a little tinkering, at long last, sparks.
That looked pretty good.
That looks good.
For a cheap solution for bullet sparks, I think we found it.
True, in real life, bullets don't spark when they ricochet.
How about a target?
Oh gosh.
But in Hollywood, everything is affected for the big screen.
Okay, you guys ready? Here we go.
That's how they do it in Hollywood? I'm happy.
Well, it's not
That's
how
the
they do it.
MythBuster version of how they do it in
Not how they do it in Hollywood, but
You know, Hollywood's given us an awful lot of myths, and a lot of them involve what I'd call faulty physics.
I mean, like this one, when some cop is supposed to be able to kick his way through a locked door. I'm just not sure it's possible. Are you ready to try?
I'm ready.
We've got the 4 locks here. We've got your hotel chain, your hotel bar, your basic deadbolt, and then the doorknob lock, which is probably the weakest of all. I was thinking we start with all 4 and then slowly remove them, and then we'll see if we can get through.
Okay.
We may blow the whole home security thing wide open here.
Earlier, the build team framed this solid core wood door to code. It's not pretty, but it's built to last.
So, big guy, test number 1, all 4 locks.
Okay.
Fire at will, it's all up to you.
Do I get another try?
you're a madman.
Nice work. Busted shoulder
I think I'm going to have a bruise.
Really?
and a busted door.
Well, you've split the whole wooden jam right down the middle, right at the deadbolt.
Kind of looks like I'm going to make it through it, doesn't it?
Well, I wonder what's going to happen with these two. I don't think those are going to hold you back. We're going to wait for Jamie to build his chi back up again. And then he's going to make a second run at the very same door, unaltered from the first test, to see if after a couple of pounds he can get all the way through the door. The physics that we're dealing with aren't as faulty and as far-fetched as we originally thought.
Unlike some of the other stories that we've done, like Rear Axle.
In the film American Graffiti, some wily teenagers played a prank on an unsuspecting police officer by looping a cable around a pole and attaching it to his rear axle. Our very own overgrown teenagers wanted to see if they could pull the prank off too. So they borrowed a replica police cruiser, rigged it with a remote control, and lashed 75 feet of steel cable.
So I'm going to drop it about 4 feet from the pole over here and assemble it
to a sturdy anchor on one end.
There we go.
And the rear axle on the other.
Yeah. Isn't television glamorous? All right.
Wired and ready.
Get ready to goose the throttle.
Our police car was off in hot pursuit. But no cable slowed him down.
That's spectacular. I should point out that the cable has a braking load of 15,000 pounds. Big cable, bigger than even I thought was the one used in the movie. Still snapped. It's a standard Ford chassis, not dissimilar at all from what they had back then. I would say right there, myth busted.
And speaking of busted, Jamie still has to bust Hollywood's busting the door down myth.
Is your chi ready?
Will he get all the way through on round 2? Or round 3?
Wait. You've actually split the framework of the door here.
Cool.
I don't know what to say, actually. I'm kind of shocked.
It's plain old physics, you know. You get 185 pounds going fairly fast at a piece of wood and metal that's like this big, and it actually makes sense now that I've done it.
We started out with 4 locks. The only thing left is the hotel lock here, which we can see the screws are already pulling out, and then the measly little girly man chain lock. And that's it.
I'm guessing, 1 or 2 more tries might get me through. Well, I got the third one, but it's the chain one that...
The chain holder!
Guess that chain lock isn't so girly after all.
The chain lock would have gone, and I'm about to pull through the washer on it.
One more go, big boy.
Well, in the meantime, while you're getting your chi back up for another run, let's look at appliances in the bathtub.
The old appliance in the bathtub. Sure, it's shockingly effective killing folks on the big screen, but how about in real life? To find out, the boys rounded up a few pre-loved appliances.
Here's a radio.
What about this?
It's exactly the television we need.
They'll soak in Tori's test tub back at the shop. But unlike your ordinary tub, this one had an electric current flowing through it.
This is an amp reader. The ground is going to go through that so we can read our amps.
And a bather made from ballistics gel.
I think we're good. Let's do it.
If the current passing through the heart hit 6 milliamps and the flash pot triggered, they knew their bather was cooked.
3, 2.
That was cool.
Is that good?
First up, or should we say in, was the hairdryer.
All right, give me the countdown, baby.
Okay, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop.
What are you reading, Jamie? I'm seeing 8.5 milliamps here across the heart.
This one is dead as a dodo. Well over the threshold.
Next up, toaster. What? Whoa.
Our friend here was toast.
Oh yeah, 12 milliamps. That's very lethal, totally lethal. Toasters, no good. Next item, one of my personal favorites.
The curling iron. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. We've got 4.5 milliamps at the heart. It means the rest of your body is going to be like, lethal dose is 6 milliamps.
I think I wouldn't want to be in there with that.
And now the iron, or as we refer to it around here, Fierro de los Muertos. Wow, that's the highest spike yet. We got 32 milliamps. This thing is literally pumping death into our subject here.
32 milliamps. That was more than 5 times the lethal limit.
Big spike. That'd be huge. You'd be toast. You'd fry. You'd boil.
4 appliances, 4 electrocutions. The verdict on this Hollywood myth was no shocker. In 3 attempts at busting down their test door, Jamie's not only destroyed 3 of the 4 locks, he's pretty much left the door in splinters. Surprisingly, only the dainty chain lock remains. For now.
One lock.
Come on, man!
Break it away.
So little is holding that on.
It's the screw head.
Okay. Like I said, it's all an intellectual exercise at this point.
Yeah.
Turns out Jamie couldn't get through the last lock because the build team didn't use the hardware that came with the chain. They used their own, stronger screws.
I think that given that you've made it through 3 of the 4 locks, I'd say we call this absolutely plausible.
Yeah, and there are a lot of guys out there that are bigger and stronger than I am as well.
It's hard to believe.
Bigger, maybe not strong.
But Adam's not one to let a sleeping myth lie.
The pad screwed me.
Better just wrap this one up before anyone else gets hurt.
I'm fine, really.
Today we're actually testing a pretty cool myth. We're going to work on the Tin Man myth from The Wizard of Oz, 1939 movie version, that is. Apparently that the original actor slated to play the Tin Man had an adverse reaction to the aluminum paint and got really, really sick. What they settled on at first was white clown makeup, and then they just dusted this aluminum powder on top of it.
Oh, that is not good.
Yeah, it doesn't sound so healthy.
But he wasn't the last person to have problems with a full-body paint job. Remember when Jamie tried busting the Goldfinger myth?
The story goes that if you paint your whole body with gold paint, your skin will not be able to breathe. The solution to this, supposedly, is to leave a small patch at the base of your spine.
140 over 110 on that arm.
So that means my blood pressure had elevated?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm basically about to become ill. I could say it's almost like I'm a little lightheaded, and I feel.
Let's get that off you then.
Okay.
That myth was busted. Jamie recovered. And with a modified paint job, the next actor to play the Tin Man pulled off his role without a hitch.
And then they changed over with the new actor, Jack Haley, and they made an aluminum paste so you don't have all that airborne dust getting inhaled.
But how would Carrie do? Only one way to find out. She slips into something a bit more comfortable.
Are you ready, Carrie?
And with paramedics standing by.
All right.
Do you want to show us how to mix up the paint?
Yeah.
It's off to see the wizard. The Wizard of Alchemy, that is.
You open up this little jar, it is strictly aluminum powder. It's a really fine metallic dust.
Looks like liquid mercury.
Ah, that's
cool.
This particular brand includes a lotion that'll help it stick to the skin. It makes it so it doesn't smear off. And this one jar would probably paint half of my body.
All right. How's your skin feeling?
Fine right now.
No itching?
No itching. A little wet and cold, but other than that, I can still breathe just fine.
Awesome. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, this is so bizarre.
How does it feel otherwise? Can you feel like a coating on your skin?
A little bit. It feels a little bit sticky, but it's really not bad. It's not thick. It's sort of just like a thin coat.
Let's take a break from Tin Woman Carrie and look back at another star-studded metallic myth. Now, here was a myth Adam and Jamie could really sink their teeth into. Was it possible to receive radio transmissions through the fillings in your mouth? America's queen of comedy,
Hey, what am I gonna get, a kiss or a quart of milk?
Lucille Ball, believed it was.
I had some dental work to be done. You know, they put in temporary fillings. I was just driving along, and a road that I'd taken many times, and all of a sudden, I heard music. But I mean, with a great beat, you know, and I looked down to turn off my radio, and it wasn't on. And the music was getting louder and louder and louder, and I realized it was in my mouth. And it was beating in my ears. I could hear the tune and everything. I recognized the tune.
One theory behind Lucy's remarkable reception was that if her fillings were made from different metals, they may have acted as a point contact diode.
I recognized the tune.
That's when two metals combined to capture radio frequency.
Well, that's a grody looking skull.
To see if they could tune into this myth for themselves, the guys fitted a skull with two different types of fillings.
These are very dried out teeth.
One amalgam, the other gold.
That is real gold foil.
Then they connected a voltmeter to monitor any change in electrical activity across the fillings.
Let's do it.
And with the help of electrical engineer Frank Hausman, channeled several radio frequencies into the molars.
Now, as I sweep the RF field in that chamber, there's no change in the teeth.
The voltmeter didn't flicker.
So if the teeth were acting as a diode, which is one of the theories about how they might pick up radio, we would see a change in voltage, but we didn't.
Adam, is the myth true or false?
I think definitively we've shown that two different types of fillings do not act as a rudimentary radio crystal.
It's busted.
Okay, we'll call it busted.
Back in Oz, Tin Woman Carrie's metallic makeover is almost done.
How about breaking out in a rash? Look up.
I don't think I am. I've got goosebumps.
They're testing to see whether aluminum-based paint would have the same adverse effects on Carrie that they had on the original Tin Man.
The first man slated for the Tin Man position had painted himself with the aluminum powder and got really sick. Cramped up in all his muscles, stopped breathing, and he ended up in an iron lung. Spent 2 weeks in the hospital and a month in recovery.
Hey, Carrie, how do your lungs feel? Do you feel like you breathed in any aluminum powder?
Well, I mean, I'm sure I've got a few stray particles here and there, but overall, once you mix it into a paste, I think you're past any of the danger zones.
But the paramedics aren't so sure.
Okay, your heart rate's up, 132. Are you getting nervous?
Nervous? About what? Being painted head to toe in silver while wearing nothing more than a shiny bikini on national TV?
Okay, maybe I'm getting nervous.
In front of a whole bunch of people? Why would you be nervous?
You're helping.
Okay, you need to calm down a little bit.
Me?
Yeah, your heart rate's 134. Take a slow breath for me. We're gonna put you on some oxygen.
Okay.
Kind of calm you down a little bit too.
And just when she thought it couldn't get any worse...
I didn't know we got slave girls. How you doing, sweetie?
Turning into an android. This is the exact stuff that they were using on the Tin Man, which was just a pure aluminum powder.
Now, why are you guys feeding her oxygen?
Her heart rate was
Heart rate's gone up.
I didn't realize I was so affected by your teasing.
And you were willing to take that chance for us. That's above and beyond the Call of Duty.
Ah, yes. Whether it's silver or gold, the MythBusters will risk life and limb to get to the truth.
That's much worse than well, I guess the gold paint was supposed to kill you, so technically that might be worse.
The team eases off, so Carrie can get back to baseline.
I can take this off now, yeah?
You can take that
I'm
off.
okay?
With the crisis past, the paint job resumes.
Well, we got to paint your face just to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. That's cool. That's hot.
Here we go.
Carrie.
She's ready to meet Captain Kirk.
Oh my God. The things we will do.
Go for it. Yeah, there you go. This is the coolest thing we've ever done. Dude,
our robot worked.
So how long do I have to be in this getup before we consider it a conclusive scientific experiment?
You have to stand there for 1 hour, starting now.
What am I gonna do for an hour like this? I'm not gonna be working with the tools or nothing.
After a quick nap and a clean bill of health,
Well, Carrie, vitals are all good.
Carrie was no worse for wear from her silver lining.
So how do you feel?
Well rested. I had a little nap.
I notice you're alive.
I'm alive. I'm breathing well.
The build team's hard at work attempting to shatter a classic movie myth. Can someone be thrown through a plate glass window and walk away without even a scratch?
We're going to show that it probably is a little bit more painful than that.
Strangely, there are no volunteers for this one. Plan B.
We are about to pour our dummy filled with ballistics gel in order to, have an actual person to throw through a pane of glass.
But first, this dummy's going to need to be thick-skinned. Latex should do nicely.
Making a nice skin for the outside of our ballistics gel body. Because it will react a little more like human skin. It'll give the glass a little bit more of a resistance than going into the straight gelatin ballistics gel.
The reason why we're doing the white is because that way when we pour in the dark red ballistics gel and then the glass cuts the skin, then we'll have a contrast and we'll see how much damage a body would get if it got thrown through glass.
This is the funnest batch of ballistics gel we've ever got to make because it's bright red, which is going to give it a nice gore factor inside of our little torso.
All right, go ahead and start pouring.
Ready?
Yeah. Ooh, that's pretty cool.
And the pièce de résistance? Fake blood.
If you don't have a big budget, corn syrup and red food coloring.
Sweet, and you can get those at the local supermarket. Okay, so now what are we gonna put the blood in?
We're gonna fill them with condoms, which they use in squib hits. When somebody gets shot, they'll get a condom, fill it up with blood, and then lay it over a hit, or a little explosive, and then that'll shoot out, spraying blood all over the guy.
All right.
And there you have a blood bag. So what we're doing right now is we're hanging these blood bags just below the surface of the ballistics gel. So hopefully the glass will cut through the skin and the ballistics gel, puncturing these and spraying blood all over the place. Hopefully this will show us how much damage a human body would get if going through a pane of glass.
Now they just let the mold set for 24 hours and voila, they've got themselves a volunteer.
Oh God, this mold looks really gruesome.
Dude, we're gonna bust this one wide open.
Just like another classic movie myth that we busted, killer quicksand.
In the movies, quicksand's always a guaranteed killer. But how about in real life? Could it really suck you under? To get to the bottom of this myth, the boys needed one key element first: sand. 20,000 pounds of sand.
That's a lot of sand!
Quicksand is a result of a process called liquefaction. Water rising from under the ground oversaturates the sand or soil, reducing the friction between the particles until they can no longer bear any weight. So, 10 tons of sand, check.
You're good.
Well, how about that?
2,000-gallon pit, check.
Wow, look at the bag drain!
Oh!
And the final killer ingredient, water.
All right, well, the tank is full of sand and water, and we're sort of primed.
Look, it's a white sandy beach. I don't feel any danger at all.
Let's just say Adam's confidence sank when the water pumped in.
Whoa! It feels more dangerous now than I thought. Whoa! Woo! Let's go! Well, I started going down really slowly, and then when the water got up to my chest in the sand and water mixture, I kind of felt where I hit my buoyant point, which is just probably right about here.
Like a cork in water, Adam was far less dense than the quicksand, so he simply remained buoyant.
Drown, you bastard.
I think we've created a very realistic scenario for a worst-case scenario quicksand.
Look, I got one leg almost.
So the MythBusters' final word on Hollywood-style killer quicksand: confirmed, plausible, or busted?
It's absolutely busted. No such thing.
I agree. Completely busted.
The classic movie myth that we're about to test out is, would somebody being thrown through a glass window be able to just dust themselves off, have no cuts, and walk away?
They couldn't find a willing volunteer, so they just cast their own.
All right, let's crack him open. No. It's kind of gruesome, isn't it?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
He's basically white latex skin over red-colored ballistics gel. The reason why we're doing that is when he goes through the glass, hopefully it'll puncture the latex skin and give us a contrast between the white and the red.
But wait, it gets better.
Also, what we have placed inside the ballistics gel are little pockets of blood. And that will also simulate, if the glass goes deep enough, hopefully it'll puncture one of those pockets and spray blood.
Now, how do you convince a dummy to jump through a window?
I've made a very simple rig. We're gonna wax or oil up this table so he goes sliding down the table. He's gonna break through this pane of glass and land softly on our table.
Adams popped in for the show.
We're just interested in the effects of the glass on the body. We didn't have a cranium in that head. It couldn't have been expected to break a glass with the same kind of force. That's what the test is about. What happens to you when you get hit by that kind of glass?
This is a bar fight, so it's going to be sliding down like they took him. So
I'm glad you've thought through the whole narrative.
All right, here we go. Okay, everybody.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
That was really great.
That was a beautiful thing.
But how'd the dummy fare?
Any blood burst?
No.
The team's not ready to confirm this myth just yet. They want to see some blood.
So next step?
You might need to get to a 1/4-inch piece of glass.
Thicker glass. I like that.
While they reset the glass, let's take a look back at another classic movie myth the boys tried to bust. Or should we say, bury? In Hollywood horror, the only fate worse than death is being buried alive. But how long could someone survive the confines of a coffin 6 feet under? To find out, the MythBusters buried one of their own.
I don't know if I'm gonna like this too much.
What wasn't to like? A sturdy 20-gauge steel casket, an above-ground burial chamber, several tons of dirt, a team of paramedics, and as an extra precaution, a night vision camera and an emergency supply of oxygen.
I'm a little apprehensive at the moment. I'm hoping that the box won't collapse, but I think it'll be all right.
You ready, Jamie?
Farewell, cruel world.
Bye-bye, Heine man.
I got a fair amount of dirt in here, and it actually crushed the container a little bit.
Roger that. Are you nervous about it? Over.
No, I think I'm fine. It definitely had an effect on the casket, though.
But the weight of the world wasn't Jamie's only pressing concern. He also had to worry about the buildup of deadly CO2 gas.
Oxygen levels?
Oxygen, he's at 98%.
I imagine my heart's beating a little faster than it was on the test, over.
You'd be correct about that. It's at 95 right now, buddy. You are almost officially completely covered now, Jamie.
This thing's really starting to creak, and it's feeling like it's changing its shape.
The cascading tons were just too much for the casket to bear.
The thing is buckling and changing shape on him.
I can feel it coming in.
You want out? You want out?
Roger that. We're gonna get you out.
A hasty exhumation followed.
Yeah, it buckled. Here we go.
Hey, Jamie.
Hey. And he's still alive.
Did it? It was just sitting there going.
After 30 minutes underground, too much weight, not too little air, caused the boys to kill the experiment. This Hollywood myth was laid to rest.
I don't think it's possible for someone to survive a couple of hours in the panic state of being buried with their coffin crushing and all of that stuff, let alone a couple of days until they're exhumed and found to be alive. That's just patently ridiculous to me.
Well, there you go. Myth busted.
Back at the workshop, the build team sets up for another go at shattering a classic movie myth. Can you jump through a plate glass window unscathed? Their dummy's first flight through an 1/8 of an inch pane proved the myth plausible, but garnered unspectacular results. So they're modifying the experiment
Oh my God.
by removing the dummy's thick latex skin.
Yeah.
I am not an animal. I'm a human being.
As soon as the glass comes cutting through here, we're going to see all the slices. It's going to be perfect.
They also replaced the window with thicker 1/4 inch glass, the type found in most storefronts.
So this is the 1/4 inch thick.
Twice as thick as the other one.
It's a lot heavier.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Dude,
Break out the Band-Aids.
look at this. He's taken a massive amount of scraping here.
Whoa, whoa, it's bigger than just small.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's gonna take a few stitches.
I mean, this guy has
This is
sustained
definitely-
lacerations on a whole bunch of different parts of his anatomy.
Yeah.
I think
And look
he
at
took
this. You
a fair
got this
amount of
big scrape right here. Look at that.
So, the Hollywood myth that you could plow through a storefront plate glass window, dust yourself off on the other side, and keep on running without any damage to yourself, busted, plausible, or confirmed.
Busted for sure.
Busted, definitely. Look how deep these cuts are.
Yeah, I'd agree. He sustained a hell of a lot of damage on that trip. You know, people have come to expect really big explosions when they go to the movies. They've become a mainstay of Hollywood films.
Yeah, they paid their $10 and they want to see a big boom.
Just like Jamie does.
And we know a thing or two about big explosions because we've done quite a few of them on the show.
The myth we're going to test right now is about how a lot of those explosions get started. We're going to test the myth of, can a cigarette ignite a pool of gasoline? Under no circumstances should anybody try this at home.
Yeah, we're not giving you instructions on how to burn things in your house or on your street. This is debunking the Hollywood myth.
Gasoline ignites between roughly 500 and 540 degrees Fahrenheit. So to determine if this myth is even plausible, they gauge the temperature of a lit cigarette first.
You want to blow on that, Jamie?
Why don't I just inhale on it and you, or,
All right,
and you get it.
There we go. I'm getting about 450, 500 degrees.
Just in range. Time to pour.
All right, here we go. I'm the villain. My plan is foiled.
Not exactly the Hollywood result they were hoping for. While the team works out the kinks, let's revisit another volatile myth.
The classic Hollywood myth usually involves a car, doesn't it, for a big explosion?
Yeah, like the exploding gas tank that we did. Will shooting bullets at the gas tank actually make it blow up?
That's the one.
To test this myth, Jamie and Adam loaded up their caddy and headed to their home on the range.
Commence fire.
There was gas in the tank, and the bullets were definitely hitting it. But there was no explosion.
Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right in a row. Ah, yep. You punctured that gas tank quite neatly. And I'll bet you went right through the other side. Hole of 3.
Jamie's rounds went clear through.
Yeah, there's one that's right out the bottom there.
Ah, so you're right.
This Hollywood myth was shot. In another attempt at a gratuitous explosion, they wired the barrels of 2 cement trucks.
Well, I got a 1-pound black powder bomb.
To test whether explosives could remove old, hardened concrete from inside the mixers.
I love this job.
Without blowing up the trucks entirely.
I want to blow that one up.
The first truck was filled almost completely with rock-solid cement.
There's a slab of concrete in there that's 3.5, 4 feet thick.
While the second had only a thin coating.
It's like a good 1-inch, half-inch cake on all the fins.
The honors went to Twister 1.
Blast danger! Clear the area! Blast danger! 3, 2, 1.
But the interior was unscathed.
Did we break some off the floor?
Nothing off the floor.
Time for the lighter Twister 2.
Blast danger! Clear the area! 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Got some big chunks. A lot of stuff came off. This area is pretty clean. The stuff that's still here is pretty loose.
Oh. But what about Twister 1 with its barrel full of concrete?
You know, you can't really put enough explosive in there to blow that up without just blowing the truck up.
And that's when the light bulb lit up. So, under the watchful eyes of numerous law enforcement agencies, dozens of bags of high explosives were loaded into the drum.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Finally, the MythBusters got what they came for.
Talk about removing concrete. There is no concrete, there's no truck, there's no nothing.
Having failed to ignite a gasoline trail like they do in the movies with the toss of a lit cigarette, the boys modify their experiment.
Okay, I'm clear.
And place the cigarette in the gas.
Nothing.
Well, what if they roll it?
It's still hot. It's still not out yet. Nothing's happening.
Well, it seems that an ember isn't pulling in as much oxygen as an open flame, so maybe that has something to do with it.
I think you're probably right about that.
So, myth busted?
So the reality of this is that it is highly unlikely that you will be able to ignite gasoline on the ground with a cigarette. But theoretically, it's possible. We know the temperature that gasoline needs to ignite at from a cigarette. We've got that data, but I can't make it do it.
Right. Well, Hollywood has definitely provided MythBusters with a ton of excuses to prove and disprove and test and just plain blow stuff up.
And I bet they're going to give us a few more.
Actually, I've got a couple of ideas about that. I saw this movie the other night that